Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be covering Biden's best case scenario in the 2024 election. So this is assuming that Biden's approval rating actually gets positive. Positive, yes, I know. It's really hard for that to happen. But that's assuming it's positive, like above 50. That's also assuming that how he gets there is either the economy improves, inflation is not a concern anymore, and or Trump gets charged or convicted of some felonies and gets possible jail time, but he could still run for president from jail. It happened before, wouldn't disqualify him. But let's just get into all the safe states here. So again, this is assuming the economy actually improves under Biden, which is possible for sure. It's assuming a recession doesn't happen either. But let's get right into this. So let's go with the safe blue states. Colorado, New Mexico, Virginia. For sure to be safe blue if Biden's approval ratings above 50% and Trump's unfavorables tank even more than they already have. But, oh yeah, Nebraska's first should be a toss-up too. So Minnesota, Michigan, and Pennsylvania would probably be likely states if Biden has a positive approval rating by then and Trump just keeps going negative. Wisconsin probably would go to lean still. Even in Biden's best case scenario, it's still not likely because, again, I think it's a pretty Republican state due to the rural areas in Wisconsin. It doesn't have a major population base that's really large like Michigan and Pennsylvania does. Maine at large would definitely go solidly Democratic in a landslide scenario. Same with New Hampshire. Let's see here. Arizona and Nevada would probably still actually go likely states in this scenario. Again, he would win over most independents by a lot. So I could see that shifting, especially if his approval rating's positive. In Utah, I would probably still be safe Republican. Have my doubts. It's a Trump plus 20 state. Even the best case scenario wouldn't go below 10. Same with Missouri as well. I just have huge doubts on the state. Maine's second. In a best case scenario, Biden could definitely flip it. I really think he could pull it off, especially with how Jared Golden's able to win here. I think Biden could be able to win this district too. Nebraska's second would be safe Democratic, and Nebraska's first would go down to likely or so. These next few states, let's see. Which one should we do next? Let's do Montana and Kansas. Even in a best case scenario, these states are still likely Republican overall. So Biden still doesn't have a chance at winning them in a best case scenario. Iowa and Ohio, however, dip down to lean in a best case scenario. I could see if the economy improves and jobs come back to these states that they would reward Biden a few more votes. But the Republican trends here are so brutal that even in a scenario where Biden wins the popular vote by 7%, which is what this scenario entails, it still wouldn't flip these two states. South Carolina, Trump only won by 11.6, so it could go down to likely in a best case scenario. Florida, even in a best case scenario, I still think it goes with Trump just because of the trends here, but Trump only wins by 2 points here in Florida in a best case. In Georgia and North Carolina, in a best case, they both go lean. Again, Republicans aren't doing terrible in both these states. In Georgia, they still have a lot of rural areas and exurbs that they do really well in. Same with North Carolina. But yeah, in a best case, Biden wins them by both lean margins. And then we're down to Alaska and Texas. Alaska, believe it or not, the raw vote margin in Alaska, let's take a look at this. It's not that large. Percentage-wise, it is large, like 10 points or so. The raw vote margin's a lot smaller here, and with the ranked choice voting in a best case scenario here, I think Biden has a very decent shot at winning Alaska in a best case, and that's why I'm going to give it to him. Texas, however, I think would be a lot closer because the raw vote margin is a lot bigger here. And I did scenarios before showing a Democratic win in Texas, and it's only by a tilt margin. So in a best case, it's a tilt margin. In this election, Biden wins the popular vote by 7%. But I also want to factor in Senate and House matchups. So I did a Senate and House map for a best case scenario of Biden winning by 7%. The Senate would look like this. Democrats hold on to Ohio and Montana. They lose West Virginia, but it's closer than expected due to the economy improving. It's closer in Florida than expected as well. They do well in Arizona and Nevada. And they also flip the state of Texas because if Biden's winning Texas, then Colin Allred's probably outperforming Biden. Will also flip the Senate seat here. Let's go to the House elections to see how that changes. So overall, It's so weird. Anyway, they get to 235 House seats overall to 200 Republicans. Let's try to make that full size. Geez, the map's like glitching here. You can't see the whole thing. I'll try to drag it to the other side so you guys can see. So it looks pretty blue on the House side, especially if Biden wins by 7%. This would probably be what the House map would do. They would sweep most districts. But let's go back to the Electoral College map. So again, I forgot to mention the VP picks. They're very important. So if Trump picks Marjorie Taylor Greene, that's like the worst pick he could do. Second worst is Kari Lake. But you really should avoid picking those two because, again, they're just so controversial. They would hurt Trump with independent voters. But again, Marjorie Taylor Greene is definitely the worst pick. So if Trump picks that, that's going to be really bad for him electorally. But this is what the map would look like in Biden's best case scenario for the 2024 election. I'll see you guys in the next video.